I guess some might say that the government actually has a duty to take steps to protect the citizens of this country, and you seem to be suggesting that that duty cannot manifest itself in the government encouraging or even pressuring platforms to take down harmful information. So can you help me? Because I'm really worried about that, because you've got the First Amendment operating in an environment of threatening circumstances from the government's perspective, and you're saying
from the government's perspective, remove that content. In actuality, the stage is set for the fulfillment of Revelation 13. Justice Jackson went on to say, the First Amendment is hamstringing the government during a crisis. Do you know what hamstringing means? Watch this.
Justice Jackson?
So my biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways in the most important time periods.
So in other words, during a crisis, we must do away with the freedoms enshrined in the First Amendment. And if you knock over one pillar, all the other pillars, rights, fall, because they all stand together or they fall together. What spirit is this? To overthrow our rights and freedoms and privacies? All they need is a crisis. And this is what is now being debated before SCOTUS. And the tyrant, even a chief tyrant, is watching closely. They are about to rule on this summer, 2024. These are the arguments being brought before SCOTUS on yesterday, March 18th. And the question is, do you not think that they will bring on more crises? Because now they know it's the law of the land, that during a crisis or crises, your rights, your privacy, your freedoms are now repudiated, then they'll manufacture more crises. And how does a nation speak? She speaks to her legislative and judicial branches of government. That's a fulfillment of Revelation 13. And what the other lawyers are saying is, in a crisis, the government should not take away our rights. You know, friends, let me break it down. There's several examples I could share, but here is one. Do you know when people are sick and they must undergo a surgery and they go to the hospital, they go to the clinic, and the surgeon steps in the room and he speaks with the sick, let's say sick and dying. The surgeon may persuade, but he's going to give options. You can elect to take the surgery, or if you don't, here are the consequences. He gives options. Why? Because the sick has rights. The sick has privacy. It doesn't matter if it's a crisis. What is a more crisis than life and death? As long as there's time, we have options, but they're saying that during a crisis, you have no rights. That's the spirit of the dragon. Now, conversely, if somebody were to meet in an accident, this person is unconscious, brought to the ER, the clinic, the hospital, right? And after being observed, surgery is necessary. The person is unconscious. As a result, they can move forward to preserve life. However, what if that person who met in the accident unconscious, what if next of kin was informed? A spouse was informed. A child was informed. Parent was informed. Then the hospital must first consult with parent, spouse, grown child, next of kin, before they can move forward. In a crisis, your rights still remain. Do you know why? Your rights come from God.